Let me tell you a true story. In December 2001, America's seventh largest company collapsed. Not declined. Not struggled. Collapsed. $63 billion, gone. Thousands of employees lost their jobs. Their savings. Their retirement plans. Wall Street froze. Not because a company failed. But because no one could explain how. This wasn't a sketchy startup. This wasn't a reckless gamble. This was a company everyone trusted. Banks trusted it. Investors loved it. Magazines praised it. Experts called it the future. And then, poof, it vanished. So here's the question everyone should have asked much earlier. What did this company actually sell? Cars? No. Phones? No. Food? Also no. Here's the weird part, this company barely sold anything you could touch. And yet, it made billions. For years. Right in front of everyone. This is the story of Enron. The company that sold almost nothing, made a fortune anyway, and convinced the entire world to clap, right until the moment it exploded. And trust me, once you understand how this happened, you'll never hear the phrase financial innovation the same way again. Before the headlines, before the ego, before the chaos. Enron was boring. Painfully boring. It was a pipeline company. Yes. Pipes. Long metal pipes buried underground, moving natural gas from one place to another. No drama. No excitement. Just gas goes in, gas comes out, you charge a fee, and you go home. If Enron were a person back then, it'd be the guy at the party who says, I work in logistics. And then stands alone near the chips. And that was fine. Pipelines don't need applause. They just need to work. So how did that turn into the most exciting company in America? Simple. Someone walked in and said, what if we make this complicated? That someone was Ken Lay. Ken Lay looked friendly. Sounded calm. Smiled like your favorite uncle. The kind of uncle who pats your shoulder and says, trust me, I've got this. Ken had a PhD in economics, which instantly made him the smartest guy in the pipeline room. And Ken loved one word, deregulation. Translation? What if the government stopped telling energy companies how much they could charge? To most people, that sounded boring. To Ken Lay? That sounded like magic. Because once prices weren't fixed, energy didn't have to be boring anymore. It could be traded. Bought. Sold. Bet on. Like stocks. So Ken went shopping. Not for pipes. For brains. That's when Jeff Skilling walked in. Jeff Skilling was a consultant. Fast-talking. Chart-loving. Extremely confident. Jeff believed in three things: markets, spreadsheets, and himself. Mostly himself. He looked at Enron and said something wild, we're not a utility company. Pause. We're not even an energy company. Longer pause. We're a technology company. Did anyone know what that meant? Not really. But it sounded amazing. And Wall Street loved it. Because on Wall Street, if something sounds smart enough, no one wants to be the first person to ask what it actually means. Once Enron decided it wasn't boring anymore, stories became more important than pipes. And their favorite story was this: we don't sell energy, they said. We sell the future of energy. What does that mean? Great question. Enron never really explained it either. But they did build something shiny to go with the idea. It was called Enron Online. Before this, energy trading was slow. Phone calls. Paperwork. Actual conversations. Disgusting. Enron Online changed that. Click. Buy energy. Click. Sell energy. Millions moved in seconds. Suddenly, trading gas looked like ordering pizza online. Wall Street lost its mind. Enron went from that gas company from Texas to the Amazon of energy. Was that accurate? Not even close. But it sounded futuristic. Fortune magazine crowned Enron most innovative company in America. 6 years in a row. 6. If you owned Enron stock, you felt smart. If you didn't, you felt stupid. And when people feel smart and afraid of missing out, they stop asking annoying questions. Like, where does the money actually come from? Inside Enron, life was intense. Jeff Skilling had a simple rule: only winners stay. Employees were constantly ranked. Top performers got bonuses. Stock options. Praise. Bottom performers? Out. No drama. No second chances. So people learned quickly. They learned how to talk big. How to sound confident. How to never say, I don't understand this. Because at Enron, not understanding wasn't curiosity. It was weakness. Meetings were full of charts and buzzwords. If you asked for clarification, you didn't get answers. You got looks. So people nodded. Smiled. Clapped. And quarter after quarter, the numbers looked amazing. Too amazing. Because real businesses have bad days. Enron promised none. So when reality didn't cooperate, they didn't fix the story. They fixed the numbers. Here's where it gets dangerous. Normally, companies count money when they actually earn it. Enron didn't like waiting. So they did something clever. They counted money the moment they imagined it. If Enron signed a contract that might make money over 10 years, they counted all 10 years of profit. Immediately. Right now. This quarter. It was like opening a lemonade stand and paying yourself for 10 years of lemonade before selling a single cup. On paper, Enron looked unstoppable. In reality, the cash wasn't showing up, but the stock price kept rising. And as long as the stock was high, nobody wanted to ask why the money felt imaginary. Eventually, Enron had a problem. Some deals were terrible. So instead of fixing them, they hid them. They created side companies. Officially, independent. Unofficially? Enron wearing a fake mustache. Bad deal? Sell it to the side company. Loss gone. Balance sheet clean. Even better. Enron often gave those companies the money to buy the bad deals. It was like taking out your trash, handing it to yourself, and saying, "Look, no trash." As long as no one opened the closet, everything looked perfect. Executives quietly sold their stock. Bonuses were paid. Houses were bought. Meanwhile, employees were told, "Believe in the company. Put your retirement in Enron stock." Many did. Because why wouldn't you trust the smartest company in America? When questions came up, analysts said, "Strong buy. Banks earn fees." Everyone smiled. Until someone finally said, "This doesn't look right." Jeff Skilling suddenly resigned. Regulators showed up. Then Enron admitted hundreds of millions in accounting errors. Translation? The profits weren't real. Investors panicked. The stock fell from $90 to less than $1. On December 2, 2001, Enron filed for bankruptcy. Employees packed their desks. Retirements vanished. Executives walked away wealthy. And the world asked, how did this go on for so long? Because Enron didn't collapse overnight. It collapsed slowly. Hidden behind complexity, confidence, and people who didn't want to ask questions. So remember this, when someone says, "Don't worry, you wouldn't understand." That's not reassurance. That's your warning. Because the simplest question is often the most dangerous one of all: where does the money actually come from?